It's Monday, August 5th, 2019. This report is freestyle. I am not reading from my written report that I usually post at oraclereport.com for several reasons, primary of which is today's energy is very much about listening and then speaking. Both of them are vital today. It's really important to think before you speak or act today. Now, the moon is in Libra, and that means it's the second day of it, of the moon Libra, and that means that the moon is squaring all of the planets in Capricorn, Pluto, Saturn, the south node, and Mars is activated. Mars is trine the Eris point. So all of those planets in Capricorn, Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node are in square to the Eris point. Mars is in trine to the Eris point, and the Moon is opposing it and squaring off all those planets and sextiling Mars. That's a lot of astro jargon to say that that very strong Saturn Pluto rectifying the past, destroying old systems and creating new foundations is very, very strong today. The reason that the energies were what we saw here in the US Saturday, Mars was again, it's trying the Eris point. And Mars is war and aggression, and on the flip side of that, depression. And then it aspects its twin energy. Mars and Eris were twins in the Greek mythology, and they were both battlefield energies. And so, I'd mentioned that this whole month we could see events like that because the Eris point energy is so activated right now, and it was at the new moon. So there's so much here. It would probably take me an hour and a half to try to write it in a cohesive format. So I'm going to try to explain it in a cohesive format because I know it gets to be a lot. So let's just talk about the position of the sun today first. The sun is at 14 Leo, and it is moving into a trine with the Eris point. So tomorrow it will begin making that range of when it's in a trine. So with the sun empowering, it's all right behind it, powering it up. So today the sun is at 14 Leo, which is the Sabian symbol. Cherub-like, a human soul whispers, seeking to manifest. This is where the listening aspect comes in. Listen, because things are being whispered in the background. And remember, the Sabian symbol for this whole month is glass blowers blow beautiful shape, glass blowers shape beautiful vases with their controlled breathing. Okay, so we have that blood spirit, that whispering, that breath. Okay, so we want to listen. We want to have the space to hear this because it's very important what we're learning today. We learn a lot about the world, but where we want to apply this is with ourselves. Okay, so this massive thing is happening in the world, just rippling through the collective of humanity, through the fellowship. Waves, like sonics. And we only have but so much control over those events that are happening because it's all being played out at higher levels. And the way that we engage that and navigate that and handle that when everything kind of seems out of control is that we go inside. We become the wise owl in the tree, and we listen and we observe, and then we speak when the time is right or when we feel called. All right, so today is an important realization for us. That energy is the cherub like a human soul whisper seeking to manifest is about some type of realization transforming into something because something needed to be recognized. All right. The earth is at 14 Aquarius, a train entering a tunnel. That means we want to cut through the detail. We want to cut through the red tape, find a way around barriers. It's about perseverance. Venus is at 11 Leo. This is children on a swing in a huge oak tree. So this talks about inner strength. It also brings up issues of safety, um, and having an element where we do kind of relax. Mars is at 23 Leo. A bareback rider in a circus displays her dangerous skill. So this is bold, courageous energy that it makes for impressive demonstrations, but it is oftentimes risky and can lead to, if we're not careful, we can lose self-control. That happens when Eris energy is activated anyway, because Eris threw the apple of discord, if you remember from the myths, which the apple of discord is what precipitated the Trojan War. And all started with the gods. Um, so let's go down and break down what time the moon is going to be hitting the different planets, and we'll just follow, and it'll be interesting to take the data on this, what happens at the different times. All right, 10:47 a.m. All these are in Eastern time. The moon's going to square Saturn. So the moon will be at 16 Libra, and that is after a storm, a boat landing stands in need of reconstruction. Remember this one? This is about things coming loose, unmoored, and falling apart, and having to rebuild. All right, so you might feel this morning like things are kind of falling apart or loose, or they've just been like, everything has just like been blown out. Saturn wants to bring structure. That's what it does. So it's going to chip away at those old foundations today and get us to help us see something. And this is going to be in effect until noon, when the moon then makes a square to the south node. The moon will be at 17 Libra at that time, which is a retired sea captain watches ships entering and leaving the harbor. It's very wistful energy, a desire to return to the past. It's something that calls us back to the past, and the south node is the past. So the past may come in this afternoon, and these are, energy moves in waves, so that the way it filters down to you may be later. Take these as a totality, but then they also can be a guide to when the exact time of the switch is. Remember, energies kind of load in and they build and they have reached their max, then they kind of fall again. So don't let the past overtake, okay, or get it totally caught up with that storm. In a storm, a boat landing stands in need of reconstruction. Okay, that could get a little bit treacherous. Remember, listen and then speak. Okay, we have that until 8:50 p.m. when the moon's going to square Pluto. And the moon will be at 22 Libra, and this is a child giving birds a drink at a fountain. So that's refreshment and nourishment and caring for others, gentleness. So that's what we want to try to bring in tonight as the moon squares Pluto. So whatever is kind of happening today, by this evening, this whole revelation or this realization, this thing we're supposed to recognize today, we should start having a better understanding of that then, if we haven't by then. That is when the moon will be opposite the Eris point. So it'll be like starting around 6 p.m. It'll oppose the Eris point and then square Pluto. And then at 10:26 p.m. we have the moon sextile Mars. And Mars is at the bareback rider in a circus displays her dangerous skill, remember? The moon will be at a chanticleer's voice, that's a rooster, a chanticleer's voice heralds the rising sun with exuberant tones. So that tells us that tomorrow, when the sun rises, wherever you are, it's a new day. And it is joyful and exuberant tones. So Mars has us kind of taking risks today or having us try to be bold and courageous, and that's what's needed now. And that's what the Eris energy is all about. It is bold and courageous to a fault at times because it's relentless and it doesn't stop. And this is why it's utilized for so much devastation in the world because it utterly devastates. So we know that we have a new day coming tomorrow, but that today's energy is intensive because it's going to, in effect, flip us back into last cycle, the Cancer cycle, the last month, the Cancer solar lunar month. And remember what that was like. That was heavy and intense because that's what Saturn and Pluto are. It's just ground changing, just shifts. It's just massive. It's like earthquakes. Um, so we go inside of ourselves, okay? We remember, cherub like, a human soul whispers, seeking to manifest our higher selves, and the voice of God is trying to speak to us. So pay attention to what you're hearing. Listen. I'm linking a song for the day, and I'm going to try to find a version with lyrics because I think it's exactly what we need to hear today. Flashing back to the 80s. Okay, that's the freestyle Oracle report. Isn't it way better when I write it? Just coming freeform out of my brain is, yeah, well, that's a journey. Okay, everyone, I'll see you tomorrow.